What's up, guys? Today we are talking about the coolest and most unique commanders from March of the Machine. Without further ado, let's hop right into it, shall we? Kicking it off nice and easy with Yargle and Multani. 6 mana, 18/6. That's it. Definitely super unique, the fact that it is not only a vanilla creature that is playable in the command zone, but is very easy to win with. Like, I feel like if you swing with this thing and it's unblocked, it's extremely unlikely that you live. It's so easy to give something +3/+3 in black and or green. You're also black, so you can sweep away smalls and then just swing unblocked. There's ways to give it fear and trample. I mean, it's a bit of a workaround, but also Power Matters cards like Gerard and Soul's Majesty, cards like that, can get you a lot of value for this thing. And it's goofy. People will be embarrassed to lose to this thing. Up next we have Itsugu and Kairi. For 2 blue-blue-black, you get a 5/4 legendary creature, Ogre Demon Dragon. Flying, when Itsugu Kairi enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your deck in any order. When Itsugu and Kairi dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to its mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. This does ignore timing restrictions, so you are able to cast a sorcery on your opponent's turn if this thing dies on your opponent's turn. Being able to put gigantic instant sorceries on top of your deck, and then simply sacrificing your commander to cast them for free and doming someone for a lot can definitely be some valuable stuff. If you want to play it like a dirty degenerate, you can fill your deck with nothing but reanimation spells and a sack outlet, and then you sack them, put a reanimation spell on top, you sack them, put a reanimation spell on top, blah 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 blah. Not as exciting. I would say this is a good excuse to play big dumb black and blue instant sorceries you've never played with before. Taurus Loremaster, 3 red-white for a 3/5 legendary creature, Elephant Cleric. Vigilance, at the beginning of your end step, exile target non-creature non-land card from your graveyard. Create a 3/2 red-white spirit creature token. Tap 1 red-white, tap, sacrifice a spirit. Choose target card exiled with Quintorius. You may cast that card this turn without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, put it in the bottom of its owner's library instead. So basically, at the end of your turn, it eats something from your graveyard that's not a creature and not a land, and then it gets put into a spooky Quintorius pile. Then you can sacrifice a spirit and cast one of those cards for free. This does not ignore timing restrictions, so you do have to play them at their normal speeds, because it says you may play that card this turn. So, unlike Itsugu and Kairi, who can just do it immediately. It's still cool because you get more options than Sugi, but you do have to do it at sorcery speed, which is not as cool. And if you lose Quintorius, like he gets blinked in or you recast him, everything that was eaten under him goes away, but he does have more, like I said, more options than the former. Still pretty cool commander. Orthian, Hero of Lavabrink, 3 and a red, legendary creature human soldier, 3/3. Tap 1 and a red, tap. Create a creature token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, activate only as a sorcery. Or, tap 6 red red red, tap, create 5 copies of another target creature you control. They gain haste, sacrificing the next end step. This reminds me a lot of Jaxus. You don't have to discard, and you don't draw a new card. But this also has the ability of just an automatic critical mass explosive play by creating 5 copies of anything. That's insane. I mean, with Angra's Marauders in this, every point of damage you deal is multiplied by 64. So every single damage you deal kills someone, even if it's 1. That's hilarious. I think he's really cool. And if I didn't already have a deck that did something similar, I would have been all over him personally. Dijeru and Hazaret, 2 red, white, for a 5/4 legendary creature human god. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, Dijeru and Hazaret has vigilance and haste. When Dijeru and Hazaret attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may exile a legendary creature card from among them. Put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in any order. Until in a turn, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Again, this does not ignore timing restrictions. You do have to play it at your normal speeds, but you do get a 5 mana 5/4 who then swings and lets you cast a free giant thing every single time it swings, and it's so easy to protect it, you know, because you're in Boros when you swing with it, or anything really. Like, you can swing and just cast a gigantic Avacyn or something. If I didn't already have a legendary tribal deck similar to these colors, I would have been all over it. Because, I mean, free card draw, it's card advantage, it's a big body, I mean, what more do you want from Boros, okay? They're trying their best. Rona, Herald of Invasion, 1 and a blue for a 1/3 legendary creature human wizard. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, untap Rona. Tap, draw a card, discard a card. Tap 5 and a Phyrexian black. Transform Rona, activate only as a sorcery. The other side, Rona, Talarian Obliterator, legendary creature, Phyrexian wizard, 5/5 trample. When a source deals damage to Rona, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you put it on the battlefield in your control, otherwise you cast it for free. This card is extremely good because you can just dome it yourself. You can deal it damage to cast a spell for free from your own hand, as long as it's, you know, random. You can also play things like Caltrops and then donate them to opponents, force your opponents to deal damage to it. There's ways to have things fight in colorless. I mean, I think this card is super good. The only reason I'm not building it is because I know that I would break it. You know, I'd like slap a Nemesis mask on it or something, and then just cast my opponent's entire hand for free. They might not like that. But if this is your jam, she's really good. Ayara, Widow of the Realm. 1 black for a 3/3. For a legendary creature, Elf Noble. Tap, sacrifice another creature or artifact. Ayara deals X damage to target opponent or battle. You gain X life, where X is a sacrifice permanent's mana value. Tap 5 and a Phyrexian red, transformer, activate only as a sorcery. Then her other side is Ayara, Furnace Queen, legendary creature, Phyrexian Elf Noble, 4/4. Beginning combat on your turn, return up to 1 target artifact creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of next end step. So, we don't care about the backside at all. Completely different than the last commander we were looking at. We just want to be able to fling our big stuff at people. Like, the Mighty Draco! Any deck I get to play Draco, I'm ecstatic, quite frankly. Because he is a 16 mana card, and that is it. And it's just funny to be like, 16. And because she is dealing damage, you can deal, you know, damage doublers, damage triplers even. With the new City on Fire and Draco, you can just, you know, fling 48 damage at someone. Oh my god. She's bananas. But yes, her backside, it's all about the front side. Up next, we got Goro, Goro, and Satoru. Blue, black, red for a 3/4 legendary creature, goblin human. Whenever one or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Tap one on a red creatures you control, gain haste. So this doesn't need to be played from your hand and then given haste to get the value. This can be done with ninjas, because they are entering the battlefield and hitting someone in the same turn. This does count. Also important to remember, the wording states that you basically get a 5/5 dragon for each unique person you're hitting. So if you hit one to each person, you make 3 5/5 dragons on a 3-mana card. And you can do that up to every single turn. Yikes. It's pretty good. Shalai and Halar is 1 red, green, white, 3/3 flying vigilance. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Halar deals that much damage to target opponent. You have a pretty unique commander to get me to play these colors. I don't like these colors. The fact that if you just double the counters on a creature, you get to just absolutely obliterate someone with damage. She's the one dealing the damage, so if you give her lifelink, you can just gain so much. If you have all be one, you're basically able to double up on the damage that she's dealing. I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, it's burn. It's goofy. I like it. Itali Primal Conqueror, 5 red for a 7/7 legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur Trample. When Itali Primal Conqueror enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells exiled from among non-land cards this way without paying their mana cost. Pay 9 and a Phyrexian green, transform Itali only as sorcery. The other side is Itali Primal Sickness. For an 11/11 trample indestructible, when Itali Primal Sickness deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. We don't care about the back. The back is who cares. As you know, I'm not a big fan of poison personally, but you do you. It's way too risky for my taste. You're paying 9 mana and 2 life after this thing is on the battlefield, and someone can just, on the stack, blow it up, and you just wasted your entire turn on literally nothing. It's just, it's not worth it. But the cool thing here is that the front side is a dope. And because you're in red, you can make copies of it very, very easily. Even with Orthian, the card we mentioned earlier. Can you imagine making 5 copies of this dummy? Yikes. It's just... yeah, make a bunch of copies of it. Fuck it. It's pretty hard to blink, which would be easier, but in red-green, it's kind of the best you got. Anyway, that was my list for the 10 coolest and most unique commanders from March of the Machine. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have an idea for another video. And see you guys in the next one. Later.